Welcome to the 1000 Hours Outside podcast. My name is Ginny Urich. I am the founder of 1000 Hours Outside and just so pleased to have a friend on with me today, Sara McCarty. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here.
Yes, we've been friends for a long, long time now. Sara is the founder of this fabulous movement and website that's full of information, Instagram account that is just very inspiring called Run Wild, My Child. Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Run Wild, My Child?
Yeah, thank you so much. So Run Wild started back in 2017, and I'll backtrack a little bit. I used to have a mommy blog before that,
Same,
and it
same.
was, yeah, all things kids. Before that, it was all things home decor and wedding planning, and before that, it was marathon training. I
You are
realized
eclectic, very
Yes,
eclectic.
a lot of different interests, but I realized I just loved writing. It was a creative outlet for me. I love the photography. I love documenting my children's lives. But as they got older, I realized that well, maybe the lawyer in me was a little concerned with posting way too much really personal information about them. Um, it was a lot of fun to do that, but when they were really little, the cute things that they said became, it becomes less cute and more personal as they get older. So
Mhm.
I had kind of a question about whether I should continue blogging at all. And I really love the accountability of writing and blogging and the community that we'd created. And I didn't necessarily
Mhm.
want to stop, but I knew I had to pivot or make some kind of change. And my husband's a big fly fisherman, and we were sitting at the fly fishing film tour when it came through in St. Louis, and we watched this film about this dad out fishing at some remote location in Russia or something. And he came home, and I remember the shot was the kid on the TV, and he jumped up when his dad ran, came in the house and gave him a big hug. And I got so angry in that moment, thinking, why isn't he just fishing with his kid? I want to watch the show where he's teaching his child how to fish. Where are those movies? I'm not seeing any of that. And I love that, he's having this epic trip of a lifetime, but where's the day to day? And I thought, well, I can do that. We teach our kids how to fish, so maybe somebody else would be interested in that. And then the more I looked into it, the more I realized there wasn't really a beginner level, entry to the outdoors website out there. There were a lot of really amazing parents and outdoor adventurers doing incredible things, but there wasn't like a very basic, just how to get your kids outside more. What games to play outside, what gear do you need, how do you go on a hike, how do you camp with kids, where do you go fishing. Just really basic questions that people have been asking me for years. And it just, we kind of just figured it out as we were going along. But when more and more people started seeing us do that, a lot of questions came in. So I thought, well, I'll give it a try to answer these questions. So that's how Run Wild was born.
I love it. Oh, it's really a neat thing, like how your path just meanders. Like you start one thing and then you build these skill sets. You start with writing and you have a blog. And so then you build on your skill sets. And I think just for anyone, I think it's motivation to start.
Yeah.
Start somewhere and know that, wherever your path is going, you're building along the way and you're learning. And, we started blogging probably around the same time. Uh, and then things just kind of fall into place along the way. So I joined your team. I was so surprised to be end up on your team. So you start this blog, Run Wild My Child, this website, and you say helping parents get off screens and outside into nature one adventure at a time, and really have all just this fantastic information like fly fishing, and there's so many things on there. I mean, so many things on there that give parents ideas and tips and um, encouragement, inspiration, and all those things. And so for a while, you were just writing, and then you expanded to have a team. So you have a huge team. It's amazing, Sara. So talk to us about that process. Why did you expand, and and who's on the team, and how did you pick them, and Sort of what's
Uh,
going on now?
it has been an amazing ride. I never expected to have a team or anything like this. I thought it would just be me riding. But I said I launched in about 2017 and immediately became pregnant with my third child. I will say it was a very welcome surprise. We dealt with infertility with the first two, and this one just surprise, not expected, but very much welcomed. And
Mhm.
I was miserable for the longest time. And we had just launched this website and then it just sat there. And I felt so bad that I couldn't give it the love and the attention that it deserved. So I thought, well, wouldn't it be great if other people could contribute their writing and maybe write a story here and there about what kind of outdoor adventures that they did with their kids? Because I can talk about the things that I do, but I certainly don't have access to a beach or to mountains. So I wanted more diversity in the voices and the ages of the kids that people were talking about in geographic location, parenting styles.
Yeah, even just
But
interests, or like,
yeah,
I mean, I feel like we're super lame adventurers. Like, I was like, okay, we're walking on a flat hike again. So, yeah, but people do really, really cool things. And so
yeah.
then it inspires you to try something new or, sort of expand, you know, what you can do with children.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. And it was great. We got so many amazing submissions when we opened it up. But then I realized each person, when they would submit their post, I'd kind of have to go through this long training process to get everything ready and prepped. And wouldn't it be nice if I had this team of people who actually, we could train them once and they would kind of understand how to do this and maybe create content, over the course of a year. So 4 posts for a season. So in spring of 2019, I opened up applications to join our creative team, which is when you came on, and
Was I in
it
the first one? I was in the
yes,
first one. I mean, I tell
OG.
you what, man, I remember sending in my thing and thinking I have no chance. And then I remember getting the email and being like, "Oh, I got picked. So it was really an awesome start to our relationship, and I've learned so much from you. It's been really fun to be a part of the team, and now you've added on
So this
considerably.
is yeah, this is our third year. We're just wrapping up the third year, and I think we had over 900 people apply this year, which was just blew my mind. I think
Yeah,
when that first year I was going to take on 4 and I ended up with like 10 because I couldn't, like, their applications were just so good and the people were amazing. And
yeah.
for the most part, a lot of those people are still on the team and still a part of Run Wild and a part of my life. And it has just been absolutely amazing experience getting to
Yeah.
know the moms and dads on this team, and
Some of
seeing
them you've met in person.
a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it every year I feel like everybody just keeps getting better and better. And it's just been an incredible experience. The writing is fantastic. The photos are beautiful. The stories are great. It's just really fun to see what everyone is doing in addition to Run Wild, because part of the experience is that I want to help grow them as well. So it's very reciprocal,
Yeah.
and it's been
Yeah.
amazing, like, seeing how far you've come over the last couple years, and everybody. It has just been like, it just melts my heart.
Yeah, it is really cool, and everyone's just real connected. You've got so you have a bunch of categories on the website that I wrote down, but I can't find it at the moment. It's like swim. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, we
Let's see
kind
where
of
I find
break
it.
down. We
Oh,
kind of
I
break
found it.
down it.
Beach, bike, camp, fish, geocache, hike, ski and snow, family travel, nature school, where you have books, crafts, currently reading, outdoor schools directory, favorite gear, and photography. So much there, Sarah,
Yeah.
so much content. Do you have a favorite? Is there like something what's your favorite to write about?
I personally love to write about fishing. That is where we spend a majority of our outdoor time. Somewhere on the water, either fly fishing or even just traditional fishing. My kids are obsessed. My husband is obsessed, which is probably why they are obsessed.
Yeah.
So the fishing, and I love combining that with photography. It's a huge photography is a huge passion of mine. I am not that good, but I am trying, and I
Same. Oh
just
goodness, girl, we're the same.
I want to get better, and I just keep trying. So I love learning about photography, trying new things. I love hearing about what other people are doing, and seeing their photos. It inspires me. So the photography and the fishing, and I combine those. I never usually have a fly rod in my hand. I've got my camera and watch everybody else.
Oh,
But
that's fun though, because it's like you get to pursue your own passion where they're pursuing theirs. But this just goes to show, all these topics just go to show how the depth of the website, because fishing is one of the category, but then this is why you brought on the team, because people are talking about beach and bike and camp, and hike. I did one about pop-up camping. I
yeah,
think that was my first one. We've got 7 people in our family, and so there's just uh, like you said before, by bringing in all these other people, you're just pulling from such a big group of knowledge. Um, okay, so speaking of photography, you guys have a photography challenge coming up. So what's that all about?
yes, we have a photography challenge this spring. So we have done a similar challenge over the last couple years. We've done summer twice and winter once. And basically, what we do is pair 6 weeks of outdoor activities, and then so for the kids, and then we teach moms how to take better pictures of their kids doing that activity. So it takes the planning out of what activities you're going to be doing. So set aside some time and just know that you've got an activity for the week planned. Grab your camera, whether that's an iPhone or a DSLR, or a point and shoot, or whatever you're using. But we give you everything you need to know to set your kids up to play, and it's a lot of just open-ended free play
So what would
outside.
be an example? Like sledding would be a winter
Yep,
one,
that
or
was the sledding. We did
hmm
sledding. We did like an outdoor like a hot chocolate picnic in the winter. In the summer, we've done like biking. We've done bubbles. We've done swimming. Either in the pool or somewhere else, like games and things you can do outside swimming. We've done like sprinkler play. Um,
so cool. And then in each situation, you're giving tips and tricks on how to get
yeah,
cool sprinkler shots. And
yep,
um,
yeah,
okay, so
and
you
it can
have. Go ahead.
some of it's really specific, like which settings to use, which gear is the best, how to position yourself to capture the light coming through the water. And some of it is different creative angles and shots you can take. Try shooting from above or try shooting really low. And it's just a lot of experimenting, because that's really what photography is all about. It's just playing around. And the great thing about digital photography is you can take 1,000 pictures and keep five, and
Yeah.
that's about what I do. But
Same,
I
same.
overshoot,
Well, I
and,
keep
and then I
one.
just pray I get one or two.
Oh, that's my photography experience as well. Like, what in the world? It's some people are just really naturally talented at it, I think. Or
I
I don't
think
know, or they've
so.
worked or they've worked really hard at it, is probably what I should say. Maybe they've got a little bit of both.
Right.
I remember thinking like when our kids were really small and we would go out and adventure, and probably it was before phones, because I'm
Yeah.
that old. I don't know, or right around the time, when we had the phones and the cameras and stuff. But I just remember feeling like, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort. And I would come home at night, and I always felt like those photos were like a gift to me. It's like you get the kids in bed, and I flip back through the 10 or 15 photos I would take, because like phone storage didn't have as much, or whatever. And it just felt like this gift, like, oh, these were the special moments of the day, and they were hard in some ways, but just so joy filled. And so I think it's a really cool thing for families um, to photograph, some of the
Yeah,
things
and it
that they're
goes so
doing.
fast. You're right. At the end of the
Yeah,
day, it goes so fast, and the days feel forever. And every adventure feels like it. Sometimes it just drags on, and then it's gone. And having
yeah,
those photos, it solidifies my memories, and then my kids love looking back at those pictures and
yeah,
seeing the things that they do. I mean, I,
yeah,
I do it almost as much for them as I do for me, because they love it. I mean, their favorite books are just photo books of
yeah,
themselves, flipping
yeah.
through and talking about what we had, which adventures we went on and the memories that they have. I don't know if they remember it actually or if they're just remembering through the pictures.
Right. But then they see, and it gives them, an example of how they can parent, which is, to do things with your kids and to be hands-on. And so, yeah, I'm a big photography, I don't know, amateur, but it really has done a lot for me personally. So this challenge is coming up this spring.
Yeah, I think it'll be in April. So we're really
Okay.
excited about it. It'll be 6 weeks starting in April, going through, I believe, the end of May.
Oh,
So
that's fun. That's a fun time to
yeah,
start. Yeah.
yes.
And so where can people find information about that?
So all of that information will be on our website. It goes out in our newsletter. So anytime we've got any big announcements, everything will be in our newsletter. So feel free to subscribe to that. But we'll be posting about it everywhere we
Yeah.
can. So
That's
it
easy to
will,
subscribe to too. It pops right up when you go to your
yep,
website,
absolutely.
runwildmychild.com. Okay, so you do the fun thing. So, the other fun thing that you have coming up, which is interesting because you said you've been, thinking about it for a long time, but this is the first time I had heard much about it. But you're doing a treasure hunt,
Oh my God.
which is just like so enticing. Kids love everyone loves hunting and searching. So tell us about the treasure hunt.
So this treasure hunt, like I mentioned, I have been wanting to do this for a long time, years, but I've just never had really the capacity to pull it off. So what we are doing is we reached out to a bunch of our favorite brands and have been collecting basically gift cards for, I mean, we've got over $1,000 in gift cards in each of these boxes. So we are going to have literally wooden treasure boxes with our logo on it. I'm working with a woodworking shop here in St. Louis to
Oh, that's
create these
so cool.
boxes. We're going to stuff them full of all of the, some goodies and swag and gear and all of these gift cards. And then we've got 10 volunteers in 10 different cities across the US, and on the morning of April 2nd, we're going to go out and hide these treasure boxes. And we will send out an email with a clue. And the clue will it'll make it obvious where the treasure box is, like a location. And then you and your family go out and you try to find the treasure box. So it's going to be so much fun. It's completely free to register. You just sign up and you get an email that morning. And then the hunt is on.
Boy, do you think it's just gonna be like a mayhem?
I
That's
don't
so
know.
fun. I love it. So I've got the cities written down here. Austin, Texas. You got them all over the US here. Austin, Texas, Bellingham, Washington, Bentonville. Oh no.
Arkansas.
I know. Yeah, well, Arizona would have been an AZ. Okay. Bentonville, Arkansas, Cape Cod, Massachusetts, Duluth, Minnesota, Nashville, Tennessee, Pasadena, California, St. Louis, Missouri. That's yours.
Yes.
That's going to be yours, right? Do you know where you're hiding it already?
No.
No? Okay. Do people already, are they already, they got to be thinking
Yeah.
this is coming in a month. Yeah.
Yes. So
I mean,
we've got to nail this down. I have some ideas, but there's also a couple other places that I want to vet. I want to just make sure that the treasure box can be put somewhere that's not, that some just passerby isn't going to find it. So it will have to
right,
be
right.
hidden a
To be
little
like,
bit.
oh wow. And then Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Virginia Beach, Virginia. So I wonder. I'm like imagining people are maybe going to be traveling for these.
Yeah,
If they don't.
we've heard from people that they're driving over 2 hours away, so they're trying to like pin me down. Like, when is the email going out, and where should I be stationed when it goes out? And so it's going to be really exciting. I'm hoping that this will get a lot of families outside
Yeah,
adventuring
and
in a new
connect.
place.
I think people will connect through it.
Yeah, and I hope that after even after the treasure has been found, they'll take the opportunity now that they're out and in a pretty park and someplace, that they'll go for a hike or have a picnic
Yeah.
or spend the rest of the day outside.
And so you're talking about over $10,000 of prizes. So
Yeah.
what are the answers to the question, Sarah? When does the email go out, and where should people be?
So the email will go out that morning, and
Okay.
because there will just be one email, it's going to be pretty early for our California crew and anybody on the West Coast, but it'll probably be around 9 Eastern, and and then go back accordingly. But
Yeah.
it'll have one clue ish, and it'll just be a clue that tells you the basic general area. So maybe it'll list a park or a landmark or something well known enough in that area to get you to the right spot. And then
Okay.
from there, you'll just have to look around and try to find it.
Oh, this is fun. Are you gonna have photographers? What, like
Yeah, so
documenting?
our volunteers are all going to stick around, and hopefully, they won't have to, it won't take hours and hours and hours, but they're going to stick around because we also have some prizes that aren't going to fit in the box. So the majority of the prizes that are in the box are going to be gift cards, and this will be mainly for outdoor gear. So we couldn't fit a pair of boots in there. Plus, we don't know what
Right,
size your kids are, so it'll be
right.
gift cards for people to be able to order their own things in their sizes, in the colors and the styles that they want. So it'll be, personalized for them. But we also have a whole bunch of fun goodies that aren't going to fit in the boxes. So we've Camelback sent water bottles and Clean
So cool.
Canteen water bottles. We've got some swag from Run Wild. So we've got some other things that we'll just be passing out to families that maybe don't get there in time to get the big treasure box, but still show up. So we want to
Yeah.
encourage people to still come out, even if the treasure box has been claimed, meet our volunteer, get some swag and goodies, and then have an adventure day.
Yeah, it's so cool and learn about, I think those are the types of places where you learn about what's cool in your area. I think there's really actually really good technology now. I think to find cool things, Google Maps is so helpful or All Trails, but some of our best things we've learned about through word of mouth.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And someone
So
says, look, like this is a cool place. There's, it's usually empty, it's easy to park. As a parent, there's different things that you're looking for. Is there a bathroom? And so, those are the type of people that are going to help you adventure more.
yeah, and the volunteers that are hiding are all local moms to that area. So they know
Yeah.
these areas really well, and they're all going to be hiding the treasure box in a place that's accessible for everybody, that's easy to get to, that's, good for kids of all ages. So it won't be anything that you have to like pay to go to, or and hopefully it'll be someplace that's, accessible to kids of all abilities.
Yes. I love that you're trying new things. I mean, I think it's hard to try new things.
It
It's like,
is.
there's a lot of details to figure out. And, it's like there's always someone that's not happy with something. And so it's brave. It's
it's
brave to like
it's
step out.
It's definitely been a learning process. It's been
Hmm.
really fun. I think that you know, the biggest issue right now is people just upset that we don't have a treasure box in their city.
Sure. But it's
So
free. And that's the thing. It's like that's the tricky part. It's like in order to start something, you have to start somewhere,
yeah,
or
and we just didn't
yeah,
know if this would even catch on. So
right.
next year we will be expanding. I hope that this will be an annual thing, and I hope that next year we can maybe double the amount of cities and
Yeah,
try some new
sure.
places. So
Or the
yeah,
state, like the state parks could help, or,
yeah,
so that you could have one in every state. But for now, people get to travel. So, and
yes,
they're really spread out. I mean, they really are, you know, all over the place. Someone said, like, if you're in Nashville, Tennessee, you're like 8 hours from like three-quarters of the country, or something like that. So,
yeah,
I mean, these are places that people could take a little trip to. Or I tell you what, we went to Virginia Beach for the first time last year with our kids, and there's this like amazing playground. It's not really a playground. It's like a workout station or something. It's kind of like a playground, like in the sand, with like ropes you can climb and all sorts of like jungle Jimmy type equipment. And it's one of my favorite places we've ever been to right there in Virginia Beach. So, like you said, people get to go and get out for the day and go on a treasure hunt. And uh, our brains are wired for novelty and new exciting things. So this is awesome. So your hope is that it's going to be every year, and I'm sure you'll find volunteers for the
yes, we've
other
already
states.
had a
And
lot of people
yeah,
step up and say that
you're
they
like,
want to
well, and like
hide
the
the
thing
box
is
next year.
right. You're like, well, then you need like $50,000 of prizes. So people are just going to
Right.
have to step up, I guess, right?
Right.
If you
I
want one
know
everywhere.
it's a lot of people also are like my neighbor. She's so sweet. She was telling me like, I really hope that this does well for you, but I have a hard time. I don't want to tell anybody about it because I want the prizes for myself.
Oh, that's tricky too.
I know. So now we're kind of up against the like, oh, well, people maybe aren't sharing about this because they are being a little
They want
sneaky.
better chances. That's funny. Well, this is coming up in less than a month, April 2nd, and you got to be registered by email to get the clues. You got to have the clue because
Gotta
otherwise
have a clue.
you'll be searching the whole city and that would be a little too hard. So we're heading into spring here, and camping season is coming up. Um, and so we like to camp. We don't do it as much as I wish we did. So I think we gotta up our game here. But you've got a summer camping challenge coming up, and sort of the focus is for families to dive in, maybe ones that are scared or just, there is kind of a lot surrounding camping. Like, what do I bring and what kind of a sleeping bag do I need and how do I cook?
Yes.
So Araceli, which I love her, Araceli Gonzalez, and she's part of the team, and she is heading up a camping challenge. She's like such an adventurer.
She is. Yes. So she is our like adventure travel coordinator. Her and
Yeah.
her husband are power weekend warriors and they love planning camping trips. And a few years ago, she and her husband made the choice to they said that they were going to camp one time a month for an entire year. And she said it literally changed their life. I mean, it just really resonated with them. And she pitched this challenge like, well, we should have people do that. And I thought, yes, but also that's a lot. Like,
Well, okay, so she's in California.
yes,
And what's her Instagram so people could find her?
it's
Her
roaming Gonzalez.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. I mean,
It
she's one of those
is.
ones that like the photography is always phenomenal, and I'm like, this isn't fair. But she's worked at it. You gotta give credit where credit is due. I mean, she's so talented and she's worked really
Yes,
hard.
yes.
Um, so Roman Gonzalez, and she's always posting really beautiful adventures. Is the weather there more conducive to camping throughout the year?
I think so. And I think they also had an RV at the time.
Okay.
So it was a new purchase and they were camping with the RV. And I think the way we're going to structure the challenge, and it's still kind of up in the air at this point, we're trying to nail down all of the logistics, but we're really aiming at families who maybe have never camped before, or maybe they've gone like glamping, or maybe they've done like cabin camping, but we're considering all of that camping. So
Yeah.
even if you just want to plan a weekend getaway, in a little cabin in the woods or something, we're going to call it camping. And we're going to help you with everything from, how to book a campground to what gear you need, what you need to bring, food and beverage wise, you know, um, which are the best family tents, family sleeping bags. Obviously, you don't have to buy any of this stuff, but we're going to really encourage, especially first-time campers, to maybe borrow. I think even some libraries now you can rent camping gear, which is pretty amazing.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
yeah. So just getting people out. I think sometimes the biggest hurdle is just doing it once. If you
Yeah.
can do it once and realize it's okay if you forget some things, it's okay if you don't sleep very well, because you probably won't, honestly.
Right.
Like, go into it with kind of low expectations
Oh
and you
gosh,
will be
yes.
blown away. So
Yes.
we're really just trying to be upfront and honest about like
Yeah.
it is a lot of work. It's a lot of prep. It's exhausting in the best possible way. Like,
Yeah.
it will be so amazing and rewarding at the end of it. But sometimes you just have to do it that one time, and that'll be enough to kind of
Yeah.
make you feel confident enough that you can do this again.
Well, yeah, you do it and then you learn, and then it gets easier. So
It
our first, it
does.
made me think of our
Yeah.
first camping trip. We took our oldest when he was 6 weeks old, so we had camped like pre-kids, and then you're like, okay, well, now we're gonna take along our baby, and so we got these like just sweetest photos. I mean, just like he is a newborn pretty much. But he woke up at like 4 in the morning crying and you're in a
Yeah.
campground and you're in a tent and it's loud, everyone can hear. So we went to McDonald's. Like we're like, what are we gonna do? I remember we were panicked. Like, what are we gonna do? It's like 4 in the morning and he's screaming and like everyone's sleeping in their tents, not far off. And so that was it. That was like the only thing that was close by that was open was a McDonald's. And I think we spent like several hours there, until it was like acceptable to go back with a loud baby.
Right.
But, it's like everything's gotten easier since then. And you learn, you just learn. And I kind of feel like that's like a thing for life is that first hurdle, like your treasure hunt.
Yeah.
You got to do it once. And then once you do it that time, then you learn. And photography has not been that way for me, though. So I don't know.
Maybe it doesn't
Uh,
apply to everything.
I
But
know,
you
not
also learn,
that
like,
for
if
me.
if the worst case scenario is that you have to spend a couple hours in a McDonald's, like,
Yeah,
that's not all that bad.
no, it was kind of bad, but all right, it was all right. But it's like you have these experiences, and you're so glad, your kids grow. And I know you and I are sort of, we got kids that are in similar stages, and I'm finding that, at the beginning it was those hurdles of sleep and physical, and just and you constantly have to watch your toddlers. Are they putting things in their mouth? So it's exhausting. And then the hurdles now are that we just don't have as much time,
Yeah.
because the kids have different activities that they're involved in. And so we're really, scraping the barrel to find the time to do it. And so I'm glad we did it when it was physically hard. Um,
Right.
because we have those memories and you learn. And then, the next time you get to do it a little bit better. And uh, there's always cool experiences. Like one time we were camping, someone had a pig. I don't know if they brought a pig with them. I don't know. Like, there should be a word for like the random things that happen that are entertaining. Like there's not. There's always something, you
That's
know.
hilarious.
Have you guys camped much?
We don't camp as much as we would like. So we are doing a big camping trip over spring break. We are going to be going down to Arkansas and floating the buffalo and camping for
What?
4 days.
What? When is
So
this?
so
I
this
can
is
no wait. We can't tell everybody your plans. We're not going to tell everybody your travel plans. But I
it's
am going to
sometime
text
in
you.
March.
Yes.
Yes. We
What? This is
also,
amazing.
yeah, I
Even the
think
little guy's old enough?
yeah, he's 3 now. Well, almost 4. He will actually turn 4 while we're gone on his birthday. It'll be
Oh,
on the float. So that'll be really fun.
that's
And my
memorable.
husband and I used to do this kind of thing a ton before we had kids. Like float camping was
Yeah.
our thing. We loved it. We'd pack up the dogs and our firewood and put everything in our canoe. And I mean, it was so much fun. It's a little harder now with 3 kids. I mean, we don't even all fit in the same boat now. So we have to,
So what do you
we're
do? Do you
we'll figure
split?
it out. So we'll figure it out. So we bought a kayak. So now we throw a bunch of stuff in the kayak too. And my oldest loves to man the kayak, so he's in that. Um, and usually kind of goes behind us, and it's really fun.
Wow. So will you camp along the river?
Yes, there are.
What?
I know.
Wait, so you're bringing your stuff in boats along
Yeah,
a river with 3 kids
yeah.
and then finding
So
places to stop and sleep and eat and
yes, so we
along
are
the way?
doing this with another family that's
Okay.
very familiar with the area and is kind of going to teach us, to do and bring. And I feel like sometimes that is the best thing. So whether
Yeah.
you are the teacher and you can teach somebody else, or somebody else is teaching you, I mean, doing things like this with another family really like exponentially ups the game. It not only makes it easier for the parents because you've
Yeah.
got other adults around, it's
Yeah.
easier for the kids because you've got other kids around. So I really, really encourage people as much as they can to adventure with other families. Maybe you're at the same skill level and neither of you have done anything, but it does feel better to try it with a family because you feel like you've got extra
Yeah.
support.
You got more eyes.
Yeah.
You got more eyes. You've got, like you said, more playmates. And then that helps. More playmates really helps. I mean, this is how life used to be. The
Right.
parents could get things done because there was playmates. And I think that's part of what has made society just harder for parenting these days because the playmates aren't there. And I love it. Basically, this is like the gist of your website, which is like,
Yeah.
having people take their passions and the things that they've already muddled through and then share what they've learned to help parents who who are wanting to try it for the first time. I can't wait to follow along on this adventure. This is like camping at the next level
It is. This is
with a
definitely
preschooler.
next level camping for us. We've never
Yeah.
done anything quite like this with the kids. We've done multiple camping trips, here and there, but we've always kind of had our car nearby or some kind of escape route or something. So this will definitely be interesting. I think it'll be incredibly rewarding once it's done. Like
Yeah.
so many of these things, it will be exhausting trying to pack and get everything ready and stressful, and then it'll be lovely once we're out. We probably won't sleep well, but I mean it's always worth it. It's just kind of, you got to convince yourself that it
You just
will be
got to
worth
do
it.
it.
Yeah.
And we just got to do it and know that there's going to be things that in the middle you're like, "Oh, why do we do this?" But then yeah, I mean you get this childhood once, they're little once. Is it warm? Will it be warm?
It will be warmer than it is now. So it'll be a month from now, and it's a lot farther south than we are
Okay.
here. So it will be cool at night and warm-ish during the day. So it's not going to be,
Wow.
swimming weather. It's not summer, but for the most part, the kids won't be swimming. They'll be fishing.
Yeah.
There will be a lot of fishing involved.
Oh, that's so cool. Your husband's got to be so excited.
Yes, the other family we're going with is also a fly fishing family. They're both
Okay.
the husband and wife are both fly fishing guides in Arkansas. So this will be some
Wow.
serious fly fishing. So I
Oh,
hope
that's
to take a lot
really
of fun
cool.
pictures.
And then you just hope that you don't capsize, right, with all of your camping stuff. That's what
Yeah,
I'm thinking
yes,
of. Because we used to do canoe trips as kids, and like every once in a while, someone would capsize, and it was fun if you're in a bathing suit and it's like the middle of the summer and you don't
yes.
have your tent in
Everything
your
will be
boat.
in a wet bag. All the kids will be in life jackets.
Yeah.
We even do have
Oh,
like
that's smart.
bumpers.
Okay, so you can get a bigger wet bag to put in the essentials that you don't
Yeah,
want to
and
get wet.
we'll have multiple boats, and then we have bumpers that you can put out on your canoe, like stabilizers that
Ah,
keep you from tipping. So we have some of those
wow.
to use as well. So
These are the
we'll
things you
see.
learn, though. It's so
Right.
cool that you wouldn't have any idea about, and then you try something new, and then you come away with all this new knowledge and skill sets, and wow. I'm sure people are going to be excited to follow along on your journey.
I'm terrified and really excited.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's neat though. And I love it. Like you said, camping can be anything. It can be along the
Yeah.
river, it can be in a cabin, it can be glamping.
Yeah.
So we'll be looking out for that camping challenge that's coming this summer from
Yeah.
Araceli.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And then you guys have, besides the website with all of the um, articles there, you have get out guides. Three of
Yeah.
those so far, right? So
So right
tell us
now
about those.
we have three,
Yeah.
and we are working with our local team members in specific locations to do basically travel guides for families. So right now I wrote the one for St. Louis. I get asked all the time, where do you go, with your kids? So
Yeah.
I put together just a massive guide of all of the outdoor things that we love to do. So these are things that we have learned over the years, our favorite creeks, our favorite fishing locations, our favorite playgrounds, our favorite hikes, outdoor dining. We kind of have a little bit of everything. And that I put together that guide. Nicole put together the one for Bentonville, Arkansas. Lissy Perna of Get Outside Cape Cod put together the Cape Cod guide. And each guide is specifically tailored to your location. So obviously the Cape Cod guide is going to be very different than the St. Louis guide. I mean, she's got, lighthouses to see, the best tide pools, the best seafood markets,
Wow.
outdoor dining. Virginia Beach is coming next with Chelsea, and we are hoping to expand these. I think maybe Bellingham is our next one. So some of the volunteers in these treasure hunt cities are the
Oh,
ones
yeah,
that are
that's cool.
putting
Yeah,
together these get out guides. So
yeah.
if you are traveling to at least one of those three cities for the treasure hunt and you'd like to spend some time or do some things in those cities, get our guide.
Yeah. I mean, I tell you what, the hardest thing to find is a creek. a
I
good creek.
know.
It
Yes.
is
Yeah.
hard to find the things. And I think, for our family, it's like over the years we've gone to these different places and, you have kids and you have stroller, people have wheelchairs, these different things. And it's, it can be difficult to find the information that a parent needs.
Yes.
And what are the best places? Because there's really not enough time to do everything, so you want to find the coolest spots. There's this, the coolest thing, one of the coolest things by us is, and I'd been there for years before we actually went, but there's this river that passes through Ann Arbor, Michigan, and the Army Corps of Engineers like maybe split the river, or maybe it already split, maybe it already kind of naturally split. And on one side, they added these rocks and things to make these little channels of water. They're little waterfalls, and you can ride them. There's like 10 of them. So, if you go on this one side of the river, so people take kayaks and they take tubes, or our kids just wear a life jacket, and they just ride these things. And, I mean, that's probably the thing I get the most like, where are you, and it was a thing where we had been at a local park that morning. I've been there with a girlfriend that we adventured with a lot, and we were both like, we've heard of this thing. We couldn't really find any information, and we were like, let's just go.
Yeah.
And we did, and we learned, like, we rented tubes. You don't have to rent tubes, and their tubes maybe weren't the best because you couldn't really paddle, and you kind of get stuck in the flatter part. So it's like, well, what tube would be best with a child? And then our kids learned that they just like to wear their life jackets, and so we go there all the time now. But the last time that we went, there's all these rock outcroppings, and someone had like a whole setup, like a tent and like food, and it was like a party. I was like, this is what we should be doing. So, you go and you do the things, and then you learn, well, what, and you see like what's everyone else doing. I'm always like eyeing everyone else's things.
Well,
Like,
that's
and
the best way to learn.
yeah, like when we're camping, I'm always like, oh, what are these? Or when we go to the beach, it's like, what's everybody dragging their stuff in? What umbrella works, or
Yep.
you know. So anyway, I think
Well,
the get
that's the
out
whole
guides.
yeah, that's the whole
Yeah,
concept of the Get Out guides. These are all curated by local moms who have tried all of these things.
yeah,
I think there's nothing, there's no better way to find cool things to do than through other parents who have also tried these
yeah,
things. So
yeah.
that was the concept, is that we just wanted things that everybody had, that these places were vetted and recommended, and that way we could give better information on them.
Yeah. Well, because otherwise you're on Pinterest, right? I mean, the only other, there's other ideas of ways to find, but this is geared for families, first of all, which is
Yeah.
unique. Pinterest is not always that way. And then it's got all the things in one place, so
Yeah.
you're not just having to like kind of grab information from all over the place and try and cobble it together. Um,
Yeah, and we've put together even itineraries in the back. So
Yes, I was
if
just looking at that. Like, if you only have a day or a weekend to explore, I love that. People are constantly asking. They're like, I'm traveling from point A to point B. What's along the route? Or
right.
we want to go somewhere for a quick weekend. Where can we go that will be family friendly and outdoor things to do? And so you've got these three, and as you start to sort of grow the repertoire here, there will be a lot of
Yeah, I hope so.
resources
Virginia
for
Beach is
family.
next. We're hoping to have
Yeah.
Virginia Beach by, within a month. And
Yeah.
and then we're starting, I think the next two are Bellingham, Washington, and Lake Tahoe.
Yeah, and you're really like, they're expanding these different places, and they're good vacation destinations too. So,
Yeah, they're great
yeah,
for even just parents, who are wanting more
yes,
things to do in their own city.
local for
Um,
sure.
and for anybody who's traveling and just has, a long weekend, or doesn't want to do all of the necessarily touristy things.
Yeah, and sometimes it's like, if you find a place you like, you can go back and go back, and
Yeah.
you hit some of the things one time and the other things the next time. So where can people find the Get Out Guide, Sarah?
So all of this is on our website at runwildmychild.com. So if you just hit that
Easy,
shop button up at the top, you can go
easy.
to the store and see all of the stuff.
Yeah. So you say Run Wild My Child is intended to emphasize the importance of outdoor play to inspire, encourage, help, and support parents prioritize time spent outside. And it's really true. Like, your mission there, you have really accomplished it and continuing to grow and expand what you're doing. So it's just a great place for people to be following along because it's not stagnant. It's just you're having these ideas and you're putting them in motion, like the treasure hunt and camping and these get out guides and photography challenges. So I know you already said the website, but if people are wanting to find information about you and Run Wild My Child, you could talk about social as well. Where
Yeah,
where are good places for people to go?
we're active on Instagram. I have like a love-hate relationship with Instagram, and I'm on the hate train right now. But it's Run Wild dot my child on Instagram. We also have a small Facebook group. Again, like just not super active there, but it's a place you can go and ask questions and get advice from other parents. But the website is kind of our bread and butter, where the majority of our content lives. And we just hope to be there to help parents
Yeah.
get outside. I mean,
And that is, yes,
we just want to be kind of a hand that'll hold your hand along the way and encourage you and keep you motivated and inspired, in a very, supportive, non-condescending, non-judgmental
yeah,
way, because I
yeah,
think we all, um, know how I guess there are some really amazing, awesome outdoor adventures, and sometimes that just feels unattainable, and it feels like you'll never get there. So we want to just help you move to the next level.
yeah.
So we're going to do it in
Yes,
a
and it's
supportive
like
way we can.
right. And any sort of nature experience that you have, tends to feel worth it.
Yes.
Really, the simple ones. I mean, that's our story. Like our stuff is very simple. We've gone to a couple cool places, and then I like use that content all the time because like we've only been to like three or four really cool places. Most of it's just local, and I think, but if you get out and you camp or you fish or you bike or all these things that you talk about that are just you geocache. I mean, that's everywhere. Um,
Yeah.
that it's fun and exciting and it doesn't have to be anything that's Instagram worthy, or it doesn't have to be anything that's like super spectacular in order for it to be impactful. So your website is also really easy to navigate. It's really easy to go and find the information that you're looking for, and um, I've got a couple articles on there. Haven't written one in a while, sorry.
No, your
But
articles are
I'm like the
fantastic.
grandma on the team.
All of the posts are just, I'm so inspired by our writers and all of the things that they're doing with their kids. Very few of the posts anymore are mine, because we just have such amazing
Yeah.
contributors, and it's just been so much fun seeing how everybody else is getting outside with
Yeah.
their kids.
And you kind of tap out, you kind of tap out of what your own expertise, and like I said, we've only gone a couple places and we're not like that amazing of adventurers. So it's
Well,
cool
and
that, you
I
know,
don't think they have to be amazing. I
yeah,
think for the most part, I mean, those amazing adventures are for the parents, not for the kids. The kids
yeah,
don't really, they don't need it, and they don't really even remember it. Those are for us, and that's fine. I think it's still fine to have
mhm,
those big epic adventures every now and then. But the day-to-day stuff, that's what's important. That's what's going to
yeah,
matter to them.
yeah, for sure. So Sarah, we always end our podcast with a favorite outdoor childhood memory that's yours.
So, gosh, I love your podcast. I've been like, the minute you asked, I'm like, I have to think of a good one. I spent all day yesterday, I think, racking my brain trying to come up with just the best outdoor memory. And what it comes down to is the little everyday moments. It was
Mm,
never like one big adventure. It was not an epic trip. It wasn't something big that happened. It was all of those moments of childhood that I was independent and being creative and outside by myself. I mean, very rarely are my parents even in these memories. It was painting this old shed and trying to turn it into a schoolhouse when I was little, or
oh,
making a dam in the creek at the bottom of our hill. Just being in the woods and sitting on this fallen down tree and writing in my journal or reading. There's just moments of independence where nature was a safe place, all on my own, to be me.
yeah,
And that's what I want to give my kids. I worry a little bit about raising kids in a suburb that they don't have access to as much, nature and woods as some kids. And so I try to, I guess, overcompensate by just making sure that they have a lot of independence, so they can go and do things on their own, that they have time and space to process away from away from our house, and on a playground, or where riding their bike through the neighborhood, or wherever it is that they need to be, because that was something that was always really important to me growing up, is just having that respite, like a safe place to go and process. So,
and even in a neighborhood, I grew up in a neighborhood, and I love the feeling of like the wind through my hair when I rode my bike. And we had a basketball hoop in our driveway. It's like not a long driveway. And I remember you're trying to like do a spin move, and you're just a kid who just try these things, and they're delightful.
Well, yes. And something that I heard on your podcast that resonated so strongly with me is that you were talking to someone, and I can't remember who it was, but about the appeal of having more children outside to play with, and how that is stronger, a stronger pull to get kids outside than even just having more space. And my husband and I have been on this, on the fence about moving for years. We want more space, more land, more privacy, but we would give up all of these kids outside, and our neighbors and our friends, and the social circle that we have. And I mean, we have a ton of neighborhood kids, and we live at the end of a cul-de-sac, and it's really lovely to just be able to.
It is a party, I bet. A total party.
It is. It's always a party, and my kids are always outside, and there are always other kids outside, and it's very kind of free range. And for the most part, we're all very comfortable with our kids being outside and playing together. There's usually somebody out there, but if not, they love it. And that really solidified our choices and made me feel like this is the right place. Like we are where we need to be.
Yeah. And nature's everywhere.
And
it's in the neighborhoods, it's in the cities, it's in the suburbs, it's in the country, it's everywhere. So well, that's awesome, Sarah. Well, I really appreciate your time. I just love being a part of the Run Wild My Child team. You have done just so many things for all of us to help us grow, and to connect together, and to learn, and to be excited about trying new adventures. And I'm super excited about all these things you have coming up, the treasure hunt and the photography challenge and the camping. You've got a lot going on, so people have to make sure they sign up for the newsletter so they can stay informed and join in on all the fun. Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you for all you do, and for being such an inspiration to me.